give my From Boyle Heights to Broadway lecture, and hopefully my students and the audience will ask really interesting questions, and I can share my wisdom and knowledge because I want to inspire the next generation of writers to write their show and dream big so that they get to Broadway too.
I just want to let you know why we're recording this. You know, when you're undocumented and you have felt invisible your whole life, you want to document your story, your humanity, but I also want to share all this wisdom and knowledge that I'm going to impart with you. And also, you know, I'm not growing old, I'm becoming wiser, and I'm a wise woman. And I really feel that it's my role as a wise woman, as a wise Latina, as an elder, to derive all the wisdom and information and all the, you know, it's like all this pain and suffering must be worth something. And it's because I'm going to, as I tell you the story, I'm going to have a therapeutic session with myself, but I'm also going to probably remember all the lessons that I've learned along the way that I want to impart with you. Because everything that I've gone through, you know, like last night I was talking to my ex-husband, we're good friends now, and I was crying. And I was saying, like, I've cried many times going, God, why did it have to be so hard? Like, why did I, you know, like starting with my father, like being so close-minded about women and education. Like I tell people, look, I was always a very energetic kid. I'm pretty sure I have ADD. I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of gifts and things. And as I share with you my journey, I'll share with you some of the discoveries I've made about my life. And I always go, gosh, why did it have to be so hard? And I remember, like, anytime I complain, God answers me, right? Because when you ask a question with a really sincere heart, then you allow Spirit to answer you back, if you're willing to listen, okay? And then I heard my heart, my voice, my inner guidance say, it's because you wanted to show that it could be done. Had your journey been very easy, there'd be nothing to share, there'd be nothing to say, but you're gonna show people that despite you being a working class person, you having attention deficit disorder, dyslexia, suffering from depression, being undocumented, having parents who didn't support you or believed you or even thought you had a mental disorder and probably were crazy or gonna end up in a mental hospital, that you still could succeed. You know, I kind of take for granted my success now, but I was told divinely to share this story and to document it so that I can put it on my website, so that anyone who's doubting that they can do it, that they'll know that they can. And so there's a lot of practical, strategic, smart things that I'm going to teach you, but there's also a lot of spiritual guidance that I got, that if I were to tell you, oh, I did it on my own, it would be a lie. So it's also a way of me divesting myself of any facade that I did this alone. Because I know not only, you know, did I get a great manager, great agent, great publicist, and a great team, because you need that. You cannot do it alone. I also got a lot of divine assistance. And I have no doubt that something divine is working with me because, and I've shared this in my class, my students who are here, that when you want to tell a story that's for your highest good, for the highest good of all, the divine will assist you. All these beautiful, amazing forces that are here, that are part of us, they will assist you and guide you and show you the way, if you're willing to listen and humble yourself to receive information. Very dramatic moment, right? Very spirit. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Okay.
I want to know about, what do you think about, like, if I want to write a play, but it's a little personal about my family. I'm afraid of them, like, you know, I don't know, having a lot of feelings. I don't know, life rights, or what limits I should
Okay,
go.
well, there's several things you've got to answer. The most important one is the legal one. I'll just quickly tell you that if you're writing about family members, you have to write it in a way that they can say, oh, you're writing about me because, you know, you're saying like 3 or 4 very specific things that nobody in the world has. Like, obviously, if they have brown hair, everybody has brown hair. But if they say they have a scar over their face, that's something unique that really identifies someone that says there's no other person in the world that has that, right? Then that's one of the ways they could legally say, no, you're writing about me. You have to make stories where you're doing composites. Because ultimately, you know, when you write stories about you and you really tell the truth and you write about your family, you're writing about family dynamics. You're writing about the universality of being in a family
there's also a lot about wounding. And although your family may be very dysfunctional, whatever's going on in your life, unfortunately, that's happening in so many other families. So that you look for the universal themes, you really looking for the truth, not necessarily to pick on anybody. Because as playwrights, we're here to really expose the lies and all the unspoken agreements and all the dysfunctions, because we're here to heal family curses with the truth, right? So the legal aspect is very important, right? The second part is that sometimes you don't have to show your work to your family. You know, that's the other aspect, is that you know, like, we write sometimes for ourselves, and sometimes we write for the public. And you may need to write a play about your family because there's no other play you can write than that one, right? And maybe you can't produce it or do anything with it for 10, 20 years until this problem is solved. And you may just need to write it for yourself as therapy. Okay, I tell you, there are stories sometimes that are very personal that we don't necessarily have to do anything with them. But we can't move on unless we write them first. And so every time, like, I have students that come in my writing workshops, and then they tell me, oh, I'm going to work on, you know, something that looks like Star Wars, something really out there. Then I go, okay, that's wonderful. And they're trying to write that story, but they can't find any authenticity or truth. And they say, why don't we start with your personal story first? Oh, I don't want to write about my life. I said, you know, a lot of what you're trying to deal with in this story, that's sci-fi, is really these issues. You just are afraid you're going to cry. I say, let's just confront them now. Because let me tell you something. When you write your story as authentically as possible, and you really tell the truth, that is something unique. Because everybody else can write that action adventure film, because there's better writers with more credits than you that are going to get those writing assignments, and you're not going to get it. You cannot compete with those people that they're already on a list. But if you write your very specific story that nobody has ever written, and you approach it with truth, and you really share your pain, and let me tell you the secret to great stories. The moments that are the most uncomfortable, the things that you wish no one wants to experience the discomfort of being embarrassed, humiliated, or anything. But if you can write characters that go through something really uncomfortable, but they still stand or cry or they feel their way through it, and they discover something about themselves, the whole audience breathes and go, oh my God, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be with my pain and embarrassment, discomfort, and I could still keep telling the truth. And then
when I was going through this experience, that a part of me said, I matter. This story matters. And even if the whole world says you're replaceable, you don't matter, you're not even human, that there was a part of me that said, no, I am human. There's a spark of the creator in me, and I'm going to show you this creativity. And you know, it's really a very emotional time, because I do come from this barrio. I do come from a place where I hear all these people crying and sad and devastated that people are getting deported, that their mothers are being taken away. So it is bittersweet to go, wow, we're going to be on Broadway telling this beautiful story, and yet art and life is just happening right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to me, I feel like this is such an important show. This is the perfect time. And you know, back when the movie came out, I was like, oh, I want this to be a Broadway musical now. and it took like, 22 years. But it's divine timing, because our community needs this. You know, even the president of Mexico is saying artists need to speak up, need to remember that they're Mexicans, need to remember this. And I go, oh my God, like the little girl had this insight. And so to me, this is the best way to fight hatred is to love yourself. Is to love your community, is to love women, is to really just celebrate everything that we are, all this beauty, this is joy. To me, this is the way we fight back, is to say, immigrants make America great, because each one of us, everybody here, all the cast, you are all your ancestors' dream come true, right? Every single woman here who's going to stand out there and show her lonja and her bags and the wrinkles are going to say, I matter and I am my ancestors' dream. And we do make America great, and I'm so proud to be here, and thank you so much for making this dream come true, because when I see that girl singing, especially Fly Away, I remember being 18 and feeling like the world was over because I was undocumented. Thinking that, God, why would you give me this desire to dream if you have made it so hard? And I made a prayer to God to say, God, why? Show me the way. And so every time I hear him flying away, I go, how did Joy know that was the feeling of like your spirit wanting to leave your body, because it's not a world that supports the dreams of young girls, especially young fat girls or chunky girls or girls with curves. and I just don't know. And so it really captures the struggle, the spirit. It captures my life in so many ways. And then my story is now the story of millions of immigrants. Now is a story of women affirming our value and our worth, you know, and it's just, I can't say enough. Thank you so much.